So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And when no actually means yes, or at least it doesn't mean no. This is something that we would have heard of before, and it's kind of edgy, if not flat out offensive to some people, but I just figured I would talk about it anyway. Anyway, I am Earthling 64 yada yada yada, and I am currently studying differential equations through MIT's OpenCourseWare. I'm also studying Korean. I have traveled a bit, and I hope to travel some more, which would be why I got some yellow fever verification, because you need that for African countries apparently. You also need some other vaccinations as well. Hopefully I can get them. I was a lieutenant in the reserves for a while until I realized that that was a waste of time. I was the writer, editor, photographer, layout, design person for my own newspaper. I had a local newspaper that I came up with like 3 times a year. It didn't really go anywhere, or at least I stopped before I ran out of money. And I have a master's in business administration, computer science degree. I traveled a bit, like I said, and that's me. So I wanted to talk about some time to when I said no in answer to people, but I really meant yes. And then I wanted to extrapolate and make a fool of myself by putting that in the context of what we normally understand by when no actually means yes. And why things are simply not as cut and dried as giving oral permission to someone to go further with, let's say, a sexual act or something like that. It's a tricky thing because life is tricky. So anyway, I had a friend of mine who he thought that I was a little bit scatterbrained, but one day he wanted to borrow a toolbox from me, a toolkit that I had, and I lent it to him, and he came back, I don't know, I think it was the same day or whatever, and he was like very quickly saying, "Hey Earthling, I lost your toolbox, and let's just go to the hardware and get a new toolbox and let's forget about it." And he just wanted to just completely, sweep the fact that he had lost my toolbox away under the thing and just get another toolbox. So anyway, I was like, no, I need to take my time. I wanted to compare toolboxes. So I went and I got myself another toolbox, and I got him a toolbox. Of course I did, because I didn't want him to bug me about borrowing my toolbox ever again. And I gave it to him as a Christmas gift. So I think somebody had asked, it had come up in conversation, and he was like, yeah, Earthling gave it to me because he didn't want me to borrow his toolbox because I lost it. And I was like, no, completely. That is not the reason why. And it was totally the reason why. And I was totally lying because I just didn't want to make him feel bad. But probably, it is, I wanted to maintain our friendship, and I wanted him not to feel that sense of, that he made me feel, by suggesting that I was flighty and I didn't. So maybe I should have just returned the favor, but I was silly and I didn't want to make him feel like that. So you might say, well, what does this have to do with, you want to talk about when girls, I presume you're talking about girls or anybody, actually says no, and you're saying that they mean yes? I mean, that is a definition of offensive. That is no. No means no. The thing about it is that women live in a society where the B word, and the dog word, they're equivalent. One's male, one's female. But the B word is the worst. It is horrible. It is disgusting. It makes women feel awful. It basically can, or it's meant to bring down the self-confidence of the most accomplished woman that you can think of. If there was a female Einstein, if there was an Angela Merkel of, the CEO of whatever it is, these words that we have for women are simply meant to negate all of their accomplishments by suggesting that they are worthless for having a desire to be intimate frequently as men do. And women, as a result of that, need to preserve this image that no, they are not interested in sex. They are virgins for life. They are anything except prostitutes or whatever. So, just like me, and, well, not just like me, because I was trying to protect my friends' feelings, but in a way like me, because they were trying to keep their relationship strong, or they tried to keep their relationship strong by making their value be higher. Because if your partner or your potential partner thinks that you might sleep with just about anybody, that you are not this special person, that they unwillingly are, well, not unwillingly, unwillingly is exactly the wrong word, where they reticently are, fall prey to your masculine wiles, for example. That's the image that women need to portray for you to feel that you are conquering them and they are preserving that image of themselves. I remember that I had a girl. She wasn't my girlfriend, but I was trying to get her to be my girlfriend. And most of the time, she was not comfortable with me hugging her or touching her hand or any of these things, to the point where one would be like, why are you even bothering, Earthling? What's the point of this? Well, she needed help studying for I think it was a law degree or something. I don't think she was ever going to get to that point, but I had offered to help her before, and she had said no, but I guess she got desperate and she came to my house and I could help her. So she could have made it really plain that, hey, please don't have any physical contact with me. But as it turned out, I had one hand on her lap and the other hand on her butt when I was tutoring her, or, well, not tutoring her because it's not like I knew law, but I was helping her through it. We would read it together and kind of try to come to some conclusion about what it was that we were reading and what it meant and how she was going to use this information to pass the exam that she needed to pass. Anyway, at some point, she was like, I'm just letting you do that, even though, it doesn't, I don't mind, I don't care. And it wasn't a question of me taking advantage of this poor girl who was desperate to try to find some way to pass her exam and taking up my offer of some kind of assistance for me to try to get sexual favors from her. And the reason is simple. There was, I guess at some point, she had taken to poking me with her index finger, in a way one might say, to try to get me to stop touching her, let's say. Now you say, aha, Earthling, you see, she didn't want you to touch her. And I say, well, then why did she... This, at one point, I said, ow, because her fingers were really bony, and they started to dig into my muscle. And I was like, okay, that's it. I am done. I'm not touching you anymore. That's it. I'm done. And at that point, she put her hands to her face and pretended to do this fake cry thing, which I can only assume was meant to get me to console her and say, oh, I'm sorry. Of course, whatever, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to talk that hard. And, I'll go back to holding you around your waist or whatever it was. So it wasn't like she was, no, don't touch me. And I had spent time with her, like she in the passenger seat and me in the driver's seat. And both of the seats reclined. And we weren't like kissing or fondling or anything, but we definitely weren't like not being intimate or not doing anything. So it's not like I was forcing myself on her per se. Anyway, fact is that she had her own unique issues, and at some point I decided I didn't want to really play along anymore, and that's it. She said, we can go up ahead, but we have to go really, 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 really slowly. And I got tired of how slow the pace of it was. The thing about it is that while no can mean yes, sometimes nothing can mean no, 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 hell no. And I think of circumstances where, a guy might be trying to put the moves on a girl, and if it is maybe because this person is somebody who she never would have thought would be doing this, she can just be like frozen, like a deer in the headlights, like they say. And the fact that she isn't saying no doesn't mean that she's okay with it. It just means she doesn't know what the hell is going on, or she just feels like anything that she says to resist, even though she probably could, and even though it would be fine, is she just can't say anything. And I don't know if I have been in that situation, but I can understand that situation. And I can understand that after the act would go through, the person would feel completely violated, and the other person would be like, but you didn't say no, you didn't hit me, you didn't do any of those things to make me think that it's a problem. But then the other person is like, yeah, but I also was not enthusiastic, I did not encourage you, I didn't say yes, I didn't give permission, I didn't give consent. And I guess these kind of things can happen in a situation a lot of times, I suppose. If there's something kind of off about the situation, like somebody's a lot older, somebody's a lot younger, somebody does not as sexually experienced, whatever the case is, but the girl can end up feeling like she has been raped. And yikes, this is turning out to be a worse idea for a video than I would have thought of. But I understand that situation where things are not flowing in a direction that you are comfortable with or okay with, but the other person just thinks, and I'm not sure if this is what would have happened with Aziz and Saria, where the girl thinks that she is saying that no, she's not leaving, she's not doing that thing that gets over the threshold of, hey, please leave me alone, I'm not ready to go further. I don't know. I really don't know. But the problem with it is, on the flip side, where you have somebody, for example, like Whitney Cummings, who went through her own, I think, assaults or whatever, but she would say in one of her podcasts that when she encounters somebody who asked her, can I take off your bra? Her mental reaction is, well, can you? B? Meaning like, why are you asking me? Why are you trying to get permission and consent and whatever at every single point? And for her, that's a turnoff. So she expects that someone will know that she wants to go past this particular point. And maybe that is to be understood when you're dealing with somebody who is sexually mature, let's say. But given all of the high profile cases, given the Me Too movement, given all of these different things, where in many instances it is assumed, even if you do say yes, as in the case of, what's the name of this guy, that comedian who, did he out himself? I don't remember. Louis C.K. Louis C.K., I guess, would actually ask explicit permission. I don't know if he asked every time. He would ask permission to masturbate in front of this particular person. And he got permission. But the people still felt, and I guess because, he was their senior, as in their boss in some circumstances, or somebody that they respected, they didn't feel like they could say no. And they said yes, while at the same time meaning no. So it is absolutely crazy. But I think that the solution to it is that somebody needs to take some, I don't want to say pick-up artist lessons, but men and women should have something like that, where they can be educated as to how to say yes, without saying yes, and I sign here and date here and everything else. And men need to know a way to understand that yes, without necessarily ask, is it okay if I do this, if I do that, if I do the other? And nobody's doing anything to put something like that in place, so I guess tough luck. But if anybody ever wants to know, I think I have at least 1 or 2 pieces on that. And if not, I guess I should do some pieces on what I learned from the pickup community, which has been really negatively portrayed, I think, because they do help guys. And guys are really the only ones who are going to go to prison or anything like that for any Me Too, quote unquote, offenses. So anyway, that's me. Hopefully this will not get banned. Please like, dislike, comment, subscribe, share, any of those things the same way that you would want somebody else to do if this were your recording. Have a good one. Peace.